Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of CIOtv. I'm Jennifer Hopper and joined by Scott DeAngelis from Coda Search. How are you today, Scott?
I am doing well, Jennifer. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to visit with us today. I know you said you're not in Charlotte today. You're up in New York and preparing for your wedding. So congratulations, and we really appreciate you taking the time for us today.
Absolutely, yeah. It's coming up fast. I think this is what I every day on LinkedIn. I'm seeing somebody else getting married. It's the year of weddings, so I guess we're one of a lot of them, given the pandemic.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I understand. I got married late last year, so we're coming up
Oh,
on our first
congratulations!
anniversary. So yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. How about if you would kind of introduce yourself and give us a rundown of what Coda Search does?
Absolutely. So I joined Coda Search actually a year ago today was my first day, ironically enough, and I was brought on board to launch our technology sales practice, which previously did not exist within the firm. So anybody who sells data, research, or software into the buy side or into the public sector, even, or to a lesser extent, corporations would be someone we can help. Most of the roles that we work on are mid to senior level or executive level searches, again, for vendors in the software research or data space. And we do have a national remit. I'm sure you've seen that Charlotte in the Southeast has gotten a little bit more love and attention than in years past from the technology sector, but we can do anything from San Francisco to the UK, and we've done placements hubbed up out of Charlotte as far west as, again, from San Francisco all the way to the UK, and a lot of work in the Southeast here as well.
Oh, that's great. I would assume that the banking and finance in Charlotte's what driving a lot of that.
It's funny. You would think there's a lot going on at the intersection of tech and finance, and the beauty is where the banks go, the tech vendors will follow, the consultancies will follow. So there's always somewhere to look in order to generate potential new clients from a recruiting perspective.
True. Follow the money, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
Fintech has definitely become a big term that you hear just about everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean it's such a broad, all-encompassing term. I mean that can I've in the beginning I would think fintech would be only something that's payments orientated. You would think that now that kind of is under the umbrella of data that's helping to drive investment decisions, even resource planning to an extent, or government regulatory compliance solutions. I mean, it's all under that catch-all term. And now you're even seeing now insurance is kind of taking that to a new level with insurtech disrupting that space. So it's a really cool market to work in, particularly with some of the firms that are really coming in to disrupt and haven't been swallowed up or acquired yet.
Yeah. What got you into this side of IT, more on the recruiting side?
It's funny. I'd like to say there was a method to the madness, but it was really just coming out of undergrad with a history degree, falling into something and taking to it really quickly.
Well, that goes along with a lot of people of what you went to school to do and what you actually ended up doing were two very different things.
That is for sure. I thought I had no idea what any of this stuff meant. It's a lot of days spent on Investopedia trying to learn the what the buy side and sell side means. A lot of research on Harvard Business Review, trying to understand what people are using AI for this week, and it's always changing. So as you can imagine, it's a really fun place to operate day in and day out. No 2 days are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So what trends do you see in the next 5 years? I know it's definitely hard to get a lot of the staffing, but how do you see IT going and how is that going to affect your business?
It's a question. I think it's on top of mind for a lot of people, business leaders and recruiters alike. I think one of the things I've really seen is that the firms who were well capitalized, who raised a round of funding prior to the recession, if you could call it that at this point, um, seem to be doing all right. If you hadn't raised your funding round and now you're looking to try and get investment, it's like anything else. The housing market is seeing it. Money is not cheap anymore. I think the firms who haven't raised the capital better be hoping that they've got a really good business plan, because it's been difficult to raise finances. In terms of kind of where we see the market trending, a lot of companies, if they're at the mercy of stakeholders and the firm
Mhm.
is not performing well, I think that's where you're seeing layoffs, where companies either overhired at a higher cost and they didn't necessarily bring on talent methodically. They just tried to get whoever was active and kind of replacing the inventory as people left on their own volition, the great resignation. in trends wise, I think we're going to see a lot of companies that look to differentiate their offering. So, particularly, one of the things I've seen in data technology is companies offering something that's more orientated towards corporates and, say, consulting or the healthcare space, areas where traditionally data has not been utilized. And we're also starting to see if there's a hesitance to hire in the United States, that data offerings and teams will be hiring in the UK. I think that more than APAC is the area where we're going to see the most movement and far more than we've seen in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. When you need money, it's hard to get it, but when you don't need it, everyone's throwing it out. So a bad economy definitely drives a lot of that. Well, Scott, I appreciate your time today. I'm definitely going to cut it short. We could talk about this for probably hours, and hopefully we can do a follow-up here soon. Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials, and thank you so much for joining us today. That's a wrap on CIO TV, and I look forward to seeing everyone again soon.